Maseches Beisa opens it with a machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel regarding an egg that was laid on Yom Tov. Beitza shenolda b'Yom Tov, Beis Shammai say you can eat it. Te'achel, or Beis Hillel say lo te'achel, you're not allowed to eat it. Beis Shammai allow this egg to be eaten, and I don't see any reason why it should be also. This is no different than any other egg. An egg that was laid on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day, you're allowed to eat it. Beis Hillel, they answer. They don't explain why they also the egg, and the Gemara explains. The halacha is like Beis Hillel, which answer to eat this egg that was laid on Yom Tov. The Gemara in Beitza Daf Daled Amud Beis brings, what about an egg that was laid on Rosh Hashanah, one of the days of Rosh Hashanah? An egg that was Nolda B'Yom Hasheni Shel Rosh Hashanah, second day of Rosh Hashanah, is certainly also just like any other Yom Tov. And the same will apply for an egg that was laid on the first day, which is also that day. But the Gemara says this prohibition against this egg that was laid on the first day applies on the second day as well. The Gemara says, Shnei Yamim Tovim Shel Rosh Hashanah. The 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, Rav and Shmuel, they both say, Nolda Bezeh, Asura Bezeh. It doesn't make a difference when it was laid, the first day, the second day. We view it as also the reason that this Isu transfers from the first day to the second, because both days of Rosh Hashanah is Yom Arichta. It's like one long day. It's the same Kedusha to both. So if this egg is also at the beginning of the first day, it is also at the end of the second day. This Chiddush in this is that Rav holds that all other Yamim Tovim, the second day of Yom Tov, an egg that was not allowed on the first day, was laid on the first day, is permitted on the second day. And yet, Rav admits that on the days of Rosh Hashanah, an egg that was laid on the first day is also on the second. The reason is, in all the other Yamim Tovim, the reason we have a second day Yom Tov is because of the Safek. We're unsure of Orseinu. We're unsure what is the day that Rosh Chodesh was established. So it comes out that one of the days for sure is a weekday. It's a Yom Chol, even though we observe a Yom Tov. So no matter what, this egg should be allowed to eat. And if it's today is Yom Chol, if the second day of Yom Tov is really not really Kodesh, and it was born, this egg was laid yesterday, why shouldn't we be able to eat it? Just like any other weekday that you're allowed to eat, an egg that was laid on Yom Tov. And if today is Kodesh, well, this egg was laid yesterday, and yesterday was a Yom Chol, you're allowed to eat on a Yom Tov, something which came about yesterday. But the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah were not established because of a suffix. Their Kedusha is one, is long, and therefore whatever is laid on the first day is also on the second, and vice versa. The reason they established both days of Rosh Hashanah for one long Kedusha has to do with the Kvius of the Chodashim. They used to establish a new month based on witnesses coming and saying, we saw the new moon. And if the first day of Rosh Hashanah would only be established out of Safek, this would cause potential problem with Kilkul HaLeviim Bashir. The Leviim would sing perhaps the wrong song in Beis HaMikdash, a weekday song instead of a Rosh Hashanah one. To prevent this mistake, it was established that the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah have one certain long Kedusha, which is called Yom Arichta. It's like a long day. After the destruction of Beis HaMikdash, there's no problem of Kilkul HaLeviim Bashir. The Levim are not standing there in Beis HaMikdash and singing. So why is it that the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah are still considered Yom Arichta? These 2 days are only because of Safek, because we don't know which day is the Kadosh. And the Rabbah holds in Beitza Dafei that on Rosh Hashanah now, the din should be just like any other Yom Tov. And whatever egg was laid yesterday on the first day of Rosh Hashanah should be permitted on the second. But Rab Avda and others, they argue with him and they hold no. Even after the Chuban Beis HaMikdash, the Isu is still there. What's the reason? Because if we will allow today this egg to be eaten, we should worry a big stumbling block may arise because of this. Because Mehera Yibane HaMikdash, we believe, Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt in Mitzvah Hashem real soon, and there's going to be one long Kedusha. ignoramuses, people who don't know the deen, will come to eat this egg on the second day of Yom Tov, saying, didn't we eat it last year? Remember, this egg was laid first day and we ate it on the second day. We did it last year and the year before. Why can't we do it again? And they wouldn't be aware that there's a big difference between the time that there is no Beis Hamikdash and the time that there is Beis Hamikdash. They're mistaken. They don't know that before Beis Hamikdash came, the Kedusha of the 2 days was only out of Safek. And therefore, what was laid on the first day is allowed on the second. But now, with Beis Hamikdash, the Kedusha is different. It's for the both days as one. And whatever comes on the first day is asu on the second day. To prevent this type of an obstacle, Chachmei Yisrael decided, no, you're never allowed to eat egg that came on the first day. You're not allowed to eat it on the second day. And with that, they ensured no stumbling block will ever come about this thing from those people who are not sufficient and not aware of the halachos of the Yamim Tovim. Now that we lay the foundations of this sugya, we can look at a beautiful question. There was a Kabbalah from Divrei Ha'arizal, brought in many Sfarim. Ruach Chaim, Reb Chaim Volozhin brings in on Pirkei Avos, and the Haggah in Perek Dalet, page 48. Reb Yonasan Agshitz in Yarus Devash, Chelek Beis, Drush Ches, Bnei Yissaschar, Reb Elchanan Wasserman, and Divrei Soifrim, Klalei Ostet Zayin, and many other places. In the future, Halacha will follow Beis Shammai. Today, Halacha follows Beis Hillel. But in the future, Halacha will follow Beis Shammai. And if that's the case, what do we care? That when Beis Hamikdash will be built, people will say, wait a second, last year didn't we eat this? We were able to eat this, we can eat it now as well. What's the problem? Let them eat it, because this egg will be permitted. If we're going to paskin that halacha like Beis Shammai, it doesn't make a difference, even if both days are one Kedusha and one long day, it doesn't make a difference, because Beis Shammai hold, as we said at the beginning, an egg that was laid on Yom Tov can be eaten, even on that day itself. So people will make mistake, think that this is allowed to eat for the same reason. But this mistake is not going to cause them to do any isu, so what's the problem? This egg, anyways, is allowed to eat for a different reason, because halacha is like Beis Shammai. And Beis Shammai hold that no matter what, this egg is permitted, even on that day itself. If that's the case, there's no reason, Bezman Hazeh, to answer the egg because of a potential chashash or worry that maybe in the future Beis Hamikdash will come and then it will cause an obstacle to other people. There's no mistake that can arise from this. More than that, if we do see in the Gemara that this chashash is something that they're really worried about, it must be that there is an obstacle, potential one, and in the future, and if that's the case, doesn't that mean that the halacha is not like Beis Shammai? Rather, it's like Beis Hillel, and they hold that an egg that was laid on Yom Tov is not allowed to be eaten. So how does this all work? We find many answers. First one, Sefer Vayitzbo Yosef, in the name of the Ostov Rebbe, and he says, we find that in the future, nature will change. And a woman will give birth every single day. That's what the Gemara says in Shabbos Daf Lamed Amud Beis. If that's the case, the hen will do the same a few times a day. And Beis Shammai hold that an egg is permitted even bo bayom, that day itself on Yom Tov, because any egg that is laid today was actually completed yesterday on a weekday. And if that's the case, no problem to eat it. But if the hen will lay eggs a lot of times during the day, it must be that this egg is a new egg. So even Beis Shammai will hold that in the future eggs will be aso. A different answer. Pesach Frank, he explains, similarly we should say, in the future. In fact, halacha will be like Beis Shammai in all dinei HaTorah, but not in the gezeros of Chazal. There's not going to be a change. So here, a beisa that was laid on Yom Tov is an isu stemming from a gezerah. It's not a din deoraisa. This will remain in the future as well. Another Teirutz from to Pesach Frank, and he explained it a different way, based on what Tosfos Yom Tov writes in Ma'aser Sheni, in Perikei Mishnah Beis, that Binyan Beis Hamikdash will actually come before Bias HaMashiach. If that's the case, we can say that halacha will change to follow Beis Shammai. It's not dependent on Beis Hamikdash, it's dependent on Bias HaMashiach, which will be after the time of Beis Hamikdash. And therefore, our worry that maybe an obstacle will come out of this still applies. People will say, oh, wait a second, last year didn't we eat this? And didn't we eat this on this year he can eat it again, but they're not going to be aware that Halacha is still following Beis Hillel when there's a Beis Hamikdash before Mashiach Tzidkenu comes. There are actually different opinions how this works. What's the right order of events? What comes first, Binyan Beis Hamikdash or Mashiach? Another answer from the Vayitzbo, Yosef and others explained as well. This rule that in the future Halacha will follow Beis Shammai is only said regarding those halachos that Beis Shammai, Paskin Lechumra, and Beis Hillel are the lenient ones. But in those halachos that even today, they are, Beis Hillel are the ones who are machmir, and Beis Shammai are the ones who are lenient, Halacha will not follow Beis Shammai, and it will continue to be like Beis Hillel. The reason is, in the future, it will be according to Midas Adin. And in Midas Adin, the Halacha follows those who are stringent, the machmir. If that's the case, in our case, Beitza shenolda b'yom tov, Beis Shammai say it should be eaten. It's a leniency. Beis Hillel are the ones who say no, it should not be eaten. The halacha will remain in the future as well, like Beis Hillel. The fifth teirutz and daf an ladaf and Beitza hey amud beis, and they explain. Based on the first ukimta in the Gemara in Beis amud aleph, there's a machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel in a machlokes of Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Shimon and Muktzeh. And if that's the case, just like in the future, halacha is like Beis Shammai, so too halacha is going to be like Reb Shimon. That's what the Vayakel Moshe writes. And it says there that in Muktzeh, the halacha will not follow Reb Shimon. If that's the case, the halacha will also not follow Beis Shammai. Sixth answer. There is a phenomenal chiddush. There is a Kabbalah in our hands. It says that in a sefer from Rebbe Voldanik, that writes that in the future, halacha will follow Beis Shammai. But, after those days that will be called Yemosa Mashiach, will come the days called Oilam Haba, and the halacha comes back to follow Beis Hillel. If that's the case, it is so meduyak. But Chachamim asked to eat this egg that was laid in Rosh Hashanah for the reason of, didn't we eat last year, we can eat again this year, because our hope, we yearn that soon, speedily nowadays, Beis Hamikdash will be rebuilt right after Rosh Hashanah. So halacha will follow Beis Shammai, no problem. But the following Rosh Hashanah will come already the days of Oilam Haba, and halacha will follow Beis Hillel, that an egg that was laid on Yom Tov is asu, and therefore we should worry about this obstacle. After saying all this, we should point out that there is such a thing, that halacha follows Beis Shammai, because before Matan Torah, those who observed the Torah actually fulfilled it according to the opinion of Beis Shammai. The first source to this is Chelek Shimon, that he writes that in the Galus in Mitzrayim, the halacha used to follow Beis Shammai. The Yismach Moshe and Parshas Toldos, he explains why Yitzchak Avinu only had two sons, because he fulfilled the mitzvah of Pru Urvu, because Beis Shammai hold two sons. You don't need a boy and a girl. Two boys fulfill the mitzvah of Pru Urvu. Sefer Imre Yosef in Parashas Toldos and Sefer Salma Chadasha, they both write the same. And based on this, the Imre Emes is Mechadish, that since Shabbos is a sample of the world to come, it's a bechina of an Oilam Haba, and the Oilam Haba halacha is like Beis Shammai, and therefore in some halachos regarding to Shabbos, halacha follows Beis Shammai even ba Oilam Hazeh.